What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy September 6th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag. We have a packed show today with Donnie RightSide and Teddy Covers. But the most important thing on all our minds is baby Briggsy. Briggs Randall is in pre-op right now. And if there was ever a time he needs all of our thoughts, and all of our positivity, and all of our love, it's right this very second. Pre-op right now, right this very second. All of our love right now sent to the Randall family, whom we love so dearly. Matt Randall, star of the Taint, play of the day. And baby Briggsy needs all of our positivity and all of our thoughts of strength and love and all of our prayers right now. Right now. Shit, my coffee cup is cracked. All right. I will figure that shit out. But right now, he needs it all. Okay. Yesterday was a very good day of capping. A lot of good came out of yesterday. There was a lot of skill done in the chat. If I didn't triple up on the Red Sox, it would have been a nice winning day. It was not a nice winning day because of a triple up on the Red Sox, but there was some great stuff on the chat. There was a lot of people up for the Vegas Gun Award for capping excellence. Muhammad Jomas, play of the day, parlaying the first half under with the Packers money line. Very, very good. Lamont Williams, max bet, both of those, the full game under and the Packers. But Vaughn Polo, our very own Vaughn Polo, this man gave us the Atlanta Dream on the money line at plus 500 or higher. And for that, Vaughn Polo wins our Vegas Gun Award for capping excellence. Rafa, can you drop our... There he is, Vaughn Polo, doing it big, doing it right. Look at Brandon Cummings, $341 on a 14 parlay. That's gorgeous. There he is, Vaughn Polo, doing it big, doing it right. Max betting that plus number. Great job. Shout out to Tiago Ruiz, Serious Business, Lock City, Jorge Don't Play, Anna Merrick, Neo Money, Vinny Cornell. There's Vaughn Polo. Said, I wish I could have got that award today. You got it, Vaughn Polo. I didn't even see your chat there. Jorge, Don't Play. Man, I cracked this bag cup. There, Diedrich Davison has got Ben Sports 24/7. Failed at life. Alex Ramirez, Tampa run line and Tampa game over came in. Great job. AM in the house. Russia money line plus 142. Ben Sports 47 says, where's everybody who had the Bears -3? Come on, guys, take accountability. Joe Vyson. Oh, my God, I spoke too soon. I'm sorry. Anna Merrick in the house says, if your cup is cracked, and that's our biggest issue today, Jimmy, it's going to be a good one. Positivity, baby. Let's go. Marty Muerte, the bigger line was the more I put in the Astros. Yeah, man, the live playing the Astros down 7-0 was very, very nice. Attaboy, Marty Muerte. There's Nut Flush Allen. Let's get to work. We have a huge card today. We have an enormous card. There's Shell Dog. There's El Boogie. There's Vaughn Polo. Says, thank you for this award, Jimmy. I'm so grateful. This just made my Friday. Vaughn Polo, the winner of the Vegas Gun Excellence in Capping Award. That I went 2-1 in WNBA. I had the aces first quarter, first half, first quarter cash, first half missed by a point. It was all aces. Everyone talking aces, but not one man. That man, Vaughn Polo. That man was Vaughn Polo. Ron Fig says, my prison pocket is sore today. No worries, Ron Fig. We will take care of that prison pocket. We have Donnie RightSide joining us in 25 minutes. And then 20 minutes after that, we'll be joined by Teddy Covers. So, pick six contest. You still have time to jump in the $50,000 pick six contest. And I will have you know, in sixth place right now is my mom. Sixth place right now. My mom, 2 units max play on the Packers +3, and it was a plus line. There it is. Jump in the contest. Don't let my mom kick the shit out of you publicly. Don't let her do that. Brooke Jordan just signed up for the pick six. Brandon Cummings says, my favorite pick of week 1 is the under in Falcons-Vikings. That's I actually liked that over a couple weeks ago, but I got off of it, and I'm off of it right now. Where's my guy? Joe and Nisi in the house. Play of the day, Arizona money line. Arizona's won 9 of 10. Joe Bison says White Sox over 9. Hit it. All right, I'm going to copy and paste that. Christopher Smith, Green Bay and under. All you guys, great stuff. And me sitting on the sidelines, a very safe place to be. But, man, you know what? I did not want to go up against Donnie and Teddy, and I just wanted to watch and learn. And the only good about that was that I knew that that Maserati Mitch is a game manager at best and not good. Now, I'm sure he's going to get better as the season goes on, but I didn't make any cash off it. All right. Vaughn posted, I had a good day. Packers first half money line, Packers full game money line, and Packers second half. Beautiful work. Okay, let's get to work. We've got a lot of work to do. In 24 minutes, we'll be joined by Donnie RightSide. We're going to be hammering this MLB card, and we will have time, if we have time, see if he's going to give us his NFL looks. But if you want his NFL looks, you got to catch me on the Audible today, 4 p.m. Eastern, with Donnie RightSide and the Whale Capper. There's Mr. Gokster. There's Dom Ricci. Let's get to work. Cardinals, Pirates. Let's get to these odds page and let's hammer this card. Oh, but first off, a disappointing day in review. Disappointing day in review. Started nice. Hit the Philly Cincy first 5 under. Hit the Tigers team total over 4.5. Lost the A's first 5 -1/2 -125. Then hit the A's -1. And then the Red Sox debacle. Man, Eovaldi had a nice start and could not get to Martin Perez. They're just a pack of bums. Out at the plate to tie it up in the bottom of the 9th. I mean, just Red Sox team total over 5.5 -140 lost. Red Sox first 5 -1/2. They were up 1-0 going into the bottom of the 5th. And the Twins tied it up. That's a loss. Red Sox -1 -115 loss. Nationals -108 loss. And then the Astros saved me -1.5 with a 2-run shot in extra innings. Jose Ruiz says Pirates money line. Pirates money line. Let's take a look at this right now. But first, can you throw up the MLB record that continues to look bad and continues to disappoint? It's one ugly record. God damn. Don Reed says Nats were sleeping, should have won. All right. Let's get to work here. Michaelis and the Cards open up at -115. There's been an 11-cent move towards them. Let's go to totals. Let's talk fast. Let's move fast. We got a lot of work to do. Total open at 9, juice to the under at -120. It's now 8.5 at -120. Do you trust Michaelis on the road? Do you trust Musgrove against the Cardinals? Those are the big questions right now. Do you trust Musgrove at PNC Park, where he's been bad? Musgrove at PNC Park, 5.35 ERA in 14 starts. Shelldog says, love the Pirates, let's cash. This Cardinals team just came through an 8-game, 6-day homestand and looked very good doing it. Michael is 8-13, 4.32 ERA, 1.21 whip. Musgrove, 9-12, 4.67 ERA, 1.24 whip, 76 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 7 miles per hour, out to right center. Pirates are hitting 275, 785 OPS versus righties. Cards 248, 730 OPS versus righties. Cards 21-6 in their past 27, 35-17 since the All-Star break. Pirates have won 5 of their past 7 games after that 7, but they still are 17-34 since the All-Star break. And the Cardinals have beaten these Pirates 9 out of 10 times since the All-Star break. The Cardinals are a big reason why the Pirates fell apart. Remember, the Pirates were only a half game behind the Cardinals going into that All-Star break. Michaelis, 4-3, 3.15 ERA, 12 career games, 10 starts against the Pirates, 3-1 and 4 starts at PNC Park. He's won both starts there this year. Michaelis pitched his second career shutout July 15th against Pittsburgh. 8-hitter, 7-0 win in St. Louis. Musgrove picked up his first win since July 30th last start. 3 runs, 8 hits, 6 innings at Colorado. Impressive. But he's a better ERA on the road than he does at home. Pirates are 12-5, and he's 9-3 in games where he's pitched at least 6 innings. Are we going to get 6 innings from him? Are we going to get 6 innings from him? Big Ragoo says, didn't get my 2-unit play in the contest. Life happens. Life does happen. But don't worry, my mom did hammer that. Danny Almendares. Danny, you know what? When it came all down to it, I needed that first half over bad. And it cashed with ease. Danny Almendares, you say jump. I say how high. Nice work, and thank you. Ty Clinton on the White Sox money line. That's the only play I made this morning, but I still waited too long. I'm sure Jin Rummy, if he likes it, if it goes with his model, would have taken it last night. But I did take it this morning. I took it on the -1 line. We will get to that game. And Kevin Pine says Trashbisky. I like that. I like that better. Okay, let's keep rolling. Let's keep rolling along here. I don't feel comfortable here. Against the Cardinals, Musgrove 1-6, 7.05 ERA. I know these Cardinals are tired. I think that Michaelis will step up even on the road moving forward. I don't feel comfortable at all. Brandon Cummings says, I think the Pirates upset the Cardinals. I'm betting $40 on the Pirates alternate run line. I like that bet. That bet makes sense to me. But I'm not going to go up against this market move, and I don't want anything to do with this spot. Let's move on. Rangers, Orioles, Brock, Burke, Dylan, Bundy, 7.3 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 11 miles per hour in. We are dealing with a lot of heavy wind coming in all day. Burke, Bundy, total opens up at 9.5, down a full run to 8.5. The market is, the opening lines for the Rangers, they're not respecting how bad they've been offensively. And then the market destroys the unders, and then it moves the full line. Bundy and the Orioles open up at minus 115. They're now at minus 133. Do you want the Orioles as a favorite? Chris Smith says St. Louis easy. Jim Remy says that's pretty much a fair line to me, the White Sox game. Maybe it was a fair line last night, but I think when I got it, I almost didn't take it. You know, Jim Remy, you're in my head all the time, and it's good. It's helpful. And I know it's going to help me a ton in NHL when I already am strong. But I almost didn't take it, and I imagine that you would have said not to at the point where I grabbed it. Let's keep rolling along. Jin Rummy, and I'm very thankful to have you in our chat. Jin Rummy says, mostly everything is fair these days. You guys finding reasons to keep fighting. That's well put. Well put. Eric Jones says, Rangers under again. Do we trust Brock Burke? That is the question. Rangers doing nothing on offense. Last 3 games, they've scored 5 runs. 1 run in each of the last 2 games against the Yankees, and then lost. 3-1 yesterday. Brock Burke, 4th major league game. He's pitched well so far, 3 runs in 18 innings. Bundy, 3-1, 1.61 ERA in 6 games, 4 starts versus Texas. Hanser Alberto. This Orioles team is looking much better offensively. Von Polo says, Jimmy, what do you think about Maryland-Syracuse game tomorrow? Maryland opened up his dogs, now they're favorites. It's a huge spot, Von Polo, and we've been talking about it a lot with Teddy Covers. And the whole thing makes me uncomfortable. The whole thing really makes me uncomfortable. I feel like there's much better spots on that giant college card at this point. Derek Tucker said Pirates lost their last 3 games against the Cards that Musgrove started, while the Cards are 3-0 last 3 versus Pirates and Michaelis has started. I just think they're tired. King Art says called under first half in Packers game. Told you. Thank you, King Art. Our guy, King Art. AM says St. Louis will lose the next series. They were rolling at home despite no rest, but now they travel to Pitt, knowing that if they get through the weekend, they have a day off. I'm fading. I like that. Topset says, what does anyone see in the Rangers? I agree with that, but then do you want the Orioles as a favorite? Maybe. Do we want to know if Mazara is in the lineup? I do. I want to know if he's in the lineup. So at this point, not making a move. I don't want to start the day, even though I already on White Sox minus 1. I don't want to start the day taking the Orioles here, who are 22-47 at home, as a favorite. But I do like them. Here. I'd love to know that Mazara is not in the lineup, though. So at this point, I don't want the Orioles. I guess I could slightly lean in them, slightly. Orioles are 262, 740 OPS versus lefties. Let's move on to Yankees, Red Sox. This is a tricky line. This is a line that's begging you to take the Yankees. Yankees open up as a dog. Now they're a big favorite, so people have fallen for it. And I shouldn't say fallen for it, because the Yankees could easily win this game. But we've seen perfect examples of other guys like Hulis Chassin, who've been off for about 6 weeks, get picked up by another team. Drew Smiley comes to mind immediately and has a nice start, or 2, or 3. That's not a reach that Chassin is possible, having a nice start. He's a guy who deals with fatigue. John Garcia says, Iran basketball jumped to minus 10, but only won by 9. Damn. D. Johnson says, Orioles haven't proven themselves trustworthy. I agree with that. And look at Red Girl, 9-3 last night. There's Donnie RightSide in the house for Football Friday. Football Friday from Donnie RightSide. We do want to hear some of his looks on football, but we need Donnie, Team Totals RightSide, joining us as well. Donnie will be here in 15 minutes. I'm not going to get in the way of this 40-cent move. Yankees opening up at plus 110 now. I guess a 28-cent move now at minus 118. But I just don't feel comfortable with it. Carlos Pro says Joe Thornton back with the Sharks. Hey, I'd like him. I'd play him on the third line and limit his 5-on-5 minutes and then have him on my power play unit. I want him in the dressing room. There we go. Donnie says solid team total later tonight. Okay, good. Donnie will be joining us in 15 minutes. Okay. And Don Reed saying, good job, Red Girl, slaying it, as she does, as she always does. Yankees, Red Sox. Herman, 17-3, 4.01 ERA, 1.15, 65 Fahrenheit, light rain, 12 miles per hour in. Topset says, I like Yankees team total over. 400 says, what do you think about the over, Jimmy? Let's take a look at that over right now. We're going to totals here in the Yankees Red Sox spot. Here we go. Herman Chassin opens at 11, down to 10.5. It all makes me uncomfortable. Jin Rami says, I like the over 10.5, minus 106 in that Red Sox game. Let's see what it is right now. If you wanted that over, well, you get minus 105 at Heritage and 5 dimes. It's minus 110 now at Pinnacle. And it's 11 at Bookmaker. Let's see, what did Pinnacle open that up at? Did Pinnacle open up? Yes. No, Pinnacle opened up at 10.5 and then put it up to 11. Pinnacle dropped it back to 10.5. What, 8 minutes ago? 8 minutes ago, Pinnacle dropped it back to 10.5. Dom Reach says, weather very unpredictable in the Northeast. Mets game, Red Sox game, getting very windy looks and looks like rain in New York. Shell Dog says, Boston the play, fishy game. You know what? I think Boston is the play, but I'm not going to make a move on it right now. I'm uncomfortable with that market move. You know, New York 11-4 in the season series. They've dominated it. Chacin making his first start since July 24th. He's the kind of veteran that I kind of like in this spot. Herman faced the Red Sox last month, 2 runs over 7 innings, and we've seen all of the public, and maybe more than the public. I shouldn't just say it's the public, but when this line came out, I was like, man, the Yankees are going to get bet heavy. I've got no move on it right now. Let's move on to Phillies, Mets. There's our guy, Bookie Lover Q in the house, fresh off destroying FIBA round 1. There's our guy, Bookie Lover Q. Man, did I enjoy hanging with you. Bookie Lover Q got you for life, my guy. Man, Bookie Lover Q, easily one of the highlights of our Miami trip. All right, Phillies, Mets. We just heard Dom talk about it. We just heard Dom talk about the weather and the difficulties with the weather. 65 Fahrenheit light rain, 16 miles per hour in. 16 miles per hour in. Zach Eflin, I wrote Elfin. Zach Eflin, Steven Matz here. Zach, 8-11, 4.33 ERA, 1.34 whip, 135 innings, 106 Ks, 37 walks, 22 home runs. Matz, 9-8, 4.04 ERA, 1.31 whip. Joni said, I'm off this game, but don't think Yanks sit down versus Boston. No, I agree with that, Joe. I completely agree with that. I don't think that they sit down against Boston ever. But Chacin is tricky in this spot. I don't think he's an automatic fade at all. 3 blind bets until the playoffs. This is from our guy, Brandon Cummings. Fading Red Sox. Red Sox overs. Minnesota Twins overs and overs in the first half of AL division leaders. Wow, those are his fading spots. Wow, very, very, very interesting. Phillies hitting 267, 78 OPS versus lefties. Mets 251, 753 OPS versus righties. Let's take a look at what we're dealing with here, market move wise in this Phillies Mets spot. Phillies Mets open at 9 all the way down to 8. You know that's weather related. Let's take a look at the money line and what we're dealing with there. Here we go. Phillies Mets. Mets open up at minus 135. They're now minus 150. God, I don't mind if my quantity of plays goes down late in the season, and I think that's something that Jin Rummy thinks we should all do, but I do not know what to do in 65 Fahrenheit light rain with 16 miles per hour in at this point. Ben Sports 24/7 says, Herman still Herman, Yankees team total over. Wow, and Breach says 16 miles in, I'd be careful with that report. It's not windy like that at all now. Oh, wow. Okay, Dom. Okay, well, we got to wait then. We got to wait for weather. Let's see what RotoWire is saying with the weather. I'm going to pull that up right now. Here we go. Let's see if they are also saying there's going to be heavy wind, because that's from baseball data. See if RotoWire leads us a little bit better into the wind situation here. And here we go. The wind, 15 miles per hour in, says RotoWire. Man, there's my guy Juan Ruiz in the house. Augustine Gonzalez has cashed last night, Green Bay plus 2.5, along with Green Bay plus 3.5, and the under cashed all 3. I love seeing that. Augustine Gonzalez getting that paper. You know what? This is a game that makes me extremely uncomfortable. Eflin, 1-1-3 starts against the Mets this season with a 5.63 ERA, but allowed just 1 run, 3 hits, 7 innings against them on Sunday. Seeing them right again. Mets are 25-12 in their last 37, but just 4-8 in their last 12. There's Lamont Williams. We gave you a shout out in the early show. You were in the running for the Vegas Gun Award. You were in the running, but Von Polo bagged it with a plus 500 money line, only play he put in. Matt's 2-2 with a 9.00 ERA against the Phillies this season with 4 starts, 1 relief. Gave up 8 runs, 6 earned without getting an out that 1 start. But he's come back. God, he's getting killed by these Mets. You know what? The wind, the volatility, bad pitchers. You deal. Let's move on. Jays, Rays, Clay Buchholz, Brendan McKay. I like this look backing Buchholz here and the Jays. McKay has not looked great. He simply has not looked that good. I think he's going to have a great career, but he's not looked that good. Buchholz, 1-3, 5.45 ERA, 1.35 WHIP. Earned his first win of the season last start. Gave up 2 runs over 5 2/3 against a very tough-hitting Houston Astros squad. He's 9-8 with a 2.62 ERA in 24 career games. I like this spot with the Jays. I just like it. Bichette's raking. Now, the Rays are rolling. They've won 7 of 8. Top set, first 5 under 4 is the play. Is that here with this Rays game? Let me go to the first half totals. Is that here with the Rays game, or are you talking with the Mets game? Let's see what we're dealing with. Well, Mets are all 4.5, so it's got to be. And the Rays is at 5. So which game are you talking about? Which game are you talking about? Our guy top set. Let's go full game money lines and totals here and take a look. Total open at 9, juice to the over. It's now juice to the under. I like Buchholz here. Nasty Nate says, Jimmy, I think you jinx my Red Sox every time you take them. Stay away game for the bag. Okay. Oh, man, come on. Don't put that shit on me, Nasty Nate. But I hear you. It fucked my whole night up. It messed my whole night up. Brandon Cummings said, glad you like the underdog in the Rays game, Jimmy. I'm taking the Jays first half run line and my buying play. You know what? I would prefer to do that. The Rays are just manufacturing runs. They're playing good baseball. I'd rather focus on Buchholz. Focus on Buchholz against McKay. Focus on this Jays lineup hitting them, and that's what I'd like to focus on. That's what I'd like to do. All of my focus and my that's how I'd like to do this. Lamont Williams giving a shout out to Matt Randall. If there was ever a time he needs our thoughts and energy, it's right now. With Briggsy and pre-op, please, please, please. Send him all of the love and strength and the positivity and all of the light that you can. Please send it to him. Okay. And Dom Ricci said, I live 10 miles from City. I'll trust my weather report over any site. Hey, Dom, no one's questioning Dom Ricci, man. Dom Ricci, we got you. And I'll wait. Dom, will you be here on the Late Show? I'll need you here on the Late Show. Chris Smith says, Yanks, Jimmy. I don't think so, Chris Smith. But if you got in early before that giant market move, good on you. I like that. I like where my guy Brandon is thinking here. I think I'm going to make this move. I think I'm going to make a move first half. And the Jays have had troubles. I thought Brendan McKay's a lefty. Why do I have... Sorry, he is a lefty. Sorry, I have... The Jays have had trouble with power numbers against lefties, but I think that can change with the kids more in the lineup as comparison as they were earlier in the season. And Bichette's raking, 329, 10 homers, 17 RBIs in 34 games. McKay's already dealt with left shoulder fatigue this year. Lost his only start to the Blue Jays. Toronto's not playing well, and the Rays are playing well. But I'm going to make my first play of the day here. I'm going to make my first play of the day. First off, let's see what the first half money line is for the Jays. It is plus 165. Now let's look if I got a plus a half. If I got a plus a half, I'd be getting plus 110. Still a plus line. I'll take it. I'm going to jump on it right now. Blue Jays, first 5, plus a half, a plus 110. Sheldog on the team total over. Nothing Ordinary says, what up, Jimmy? We have to talk college football. You know that we will. We're going to be joined by Teddy Covers in 27 minutes. 7 minutes from now, we're going to be joined by our guy, Donnie RightSide. Let's keep rolling. Diamondbacks, Reds. Diamondbacks are hot. But do you trust Robbie Ray with the way he's been pitching? I don't know if I do. Now, he's been winning games because the Diamondbacks are averaging 7.8 runs in his last 5 starts. Allowed 4 runs, 8 hits, and 5 innings against the Dodgers. And that's a Dodgers team that doesn't smash lefties. So, Jin Rami says it's getting better. Some people in the chat start to call underdog plays. Yeah, my man Danny. This is a Costa Rican soccer jersey that I'm rocking proudly. Top Set says Rays are on my stay away today. CT Bay's like in Jays plus money, and CT Bay's also saying Wake Forest wins by 24 tonight. And Jansen says no, Jimmy, I'm hot. Jansen Bonson, second place last year in the Beat the Prick. Let's see how he follows that up in the Pick 6 contest. Our guy, Jansen Bonson, representing the 6. Man, I love dearly. All right, Top Set says, my man likes this full game under here. In the Diamondbacks Reds, Top Set? Chris Smith says, take Tampa Bay, Jim. I'm gonna go with the first 5 with the Jays here, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Jays or the Rays continue to manufacture wins here. Diamondbacks, Reds, 80 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 6 miles per hour, out to right center. Brandon says, I'm staying away. Houston. Mally Mouse says, Houston won last night? Yeah, they did, man. And they covered the -1.5. Unbelievable. Matt Kessler says, will Teddy actually give a pick? I don't even know. I mean, he gives us I guess he's not making official picks, and we can ask him to start doing that. But I know how to handle the card much better after working with them. So I'm not. But I hear you, Matt. We'll talk to him. We'll ask. Lamont Williams, my max bet, Arizona run line, and love White Sox total over. Love White Sox total over. Let's copy and paste that here. There we go. Copy and paste that. Book it. Jansen says, I like Arizona here. I get that. Sheldog says, no, he won't. Okay, all right. If we ask him to, he will. And Valley Mouse says, Teddy gave a few. He did. He really did. Dom Ricci back in Lamont's action. Jim Rami says, I like the Reds at plus 116 because of the price. You know what? I agree. I know that maybe I shouldn't get in the way of a streak here. I can understand not getting away in the way of a streak here with the Diamondbacks Rays, Ray Molly. But Molly looked good. Returns from a 6-week absence. It wasn't arm-related. It was a hamstring strain. He allows 1 earned run, 2 hits, and 6 1/3 Sunday in St. Louis. I know that St. Louis is not raking. They're just playing good baseball. But I like that look. Repulate Gaming in the house. Liking D-backs. Mouse says minus 220. Teddy doesn't do a leche. I think Teddy's got a leche in him. But I don't know if we're going to ask for it right off the top. Joe Anisi says on the Diamondbacks. Gerardo Hernandez up 1-0 in the pick 6. Sheldog says great info. I agree. I think it's a great score for us. Brandon Cummings says, I won't talk y'all off the Diamondbacks, but I don't have good luck when taking the team either on the money line or the run line. I'm 2-7 when picking the Diamondbacks. Interesting. And Brandon Lugo says it best. He says, Teddy good with the info. He doesn't even need to give picks. He's clear with his positions. That's very well put, Brandon Lugo. My guy, Brandon Lugo. And nothing ordinary liking Oakland minus 1. You know what? I tend to agree. With Jin Rummy here on this look with the Reds. Let's see what we get. Full game, money lines and totals. And are we afraid to get in the way of Arizona? I can understand that. Let's see what we get on the money line right now. There's been a slight move towards the Reds. Wow, plus 116. How did he get plus 116? Oh, he got it at 6:20 a.m. He waited, and then he pounced. Oh, at 2:20 a.m. it was a plus 116 too. Wow. So, Jin Rummy, would you not take this play, Reds, at plus 108 at Heritage? There's still a plus line there, but would you not take it? All right, Ron Crawford, spreadsheet yesterday, 2 and 3. What's that, the second time all year that spreadsheet hasn't hit for plus units? Bounce back today, Arizona, Tampa Bay, Chicago, Oakland, Minnesota is on Ron Crawford's. Sheldog says bet the Reds. I would like to bet the Reds here. We know that Suarez is going to be back in the lineup. Give me another plus spot. Don Reach says Whale Capper told us in Arizona in Florida that Arizona will go on a run, and they have. Yeah, no doubt about it. And Jim Rummy says I won't take plus 108, sir. All right. Okay. All right. Damn, Jim Rummy. Okay, I'm not going to make a move then at this point, but I certainly do feel like Molly, after that 6 weeks off with a non-arm related injury, looked very good against the Reds. Here he is at home. I'll just leave that as a lean. Because Brandon Cummings says plus 108. I don't think there's any value considering who the Reds have on the mound. I like it. Pink Eye Genie says don't do Jimmy Ride Arizona. Okay, I'll just leave it as a lean right now. We have 1 minute before we're joined by Donnie RightSide. Let's talk about this trash game in Miami. Royals, Marlins, Lopez versus Lopez, Jorge versus Pablo. Jorge 2-7, 6.61 ERA. Pablo 5-7, 4.89 ERA. Royals rating 247, 714 OPS versus righties. Marlins rating 238, 663 OPS versus righties. Prince of the City says you look refreshed today. Castro is hitting. Starlin's eating right now. 332 batting average in June 28th, 4th in the National League. And Jorge Soler for the Royals is eating as well. Let's take a quick look at the market move here in this spot, and then let's bring in Donnie RightSide. KC opens at plus 110. They're now at plus 128. 10-cent move towards the Marlins. I mean, that just has to be based solely on Pablo Lopez being good and Jorge Lopez being trash. Jorge Lopez has a career record of 5-13, 5.99 ERA, 1.534 WHIP. 13 starts, he has a 7.12 ERA. I mean, it just has to be based on that. But again, are you going to take the Marlins as a favorite? Are you going to take the Orioles as a favorite? I don't want to have anything to do with that. All right, so we have a lot of games left on the card to talk about, and we are going to bring in none other than the legend Donnie RightSide to our Friday morning show. Donnie representing Philadelphia in the house. Donnie RightSide, how are you doing on this Friday morning?
Doing wonderful, Jimmy. Thanks for having me on once again. I love this nice little Friday morning spot where you get to tee up some of that night card stuff. You get to sort of lay out the way your day is going to happen. And oh, yeah, it's Friday, which means football all week long. Love to be here, Jimmy. Thanks.
Oh, we love having you. We love having you. Now, how do you want to handle this segment now that football's here? Because we need help in all aspects of every sport. So it's not like one sport more, but, we do have the Audible coming up. Would you like to give us some of your NFL looks? Or would you want to focus on baseball? How do you want to handle things?
Yeah, no, I got a couple baseball things, but again, it's Football Friday, so we can always lead off with that. Just got done doing a taping with our old buddy Ed Fang on a FanDuel app, and I had a lot of fun talking. Got my juices flowing already, so wherever you want to go, NFL in that direction, Jimmy, we can talk about. And why don't we start with last night and the Mitsubishi model Mitch, Maserati Mitch, rolling around out there. Didn't we get exactly what you thought might happen? In the captain, I'm taking a look at this game, saying, you know what? I like the Bears -3. As long as we don't get a subpar performance out of the quarterback, the hell did we get last night? A subpar performance out of the quarterback. That's exactly what you get. A Green Bay win yesterday, Jimmy.
Yeah, and, I tell you, sitting on the sidelines has never felt so good. I've never, in my whole life, that's the best I've ever felt not making a play on a game. I enjoyed every second of it. There was no panic walks. There was no anger. There was no throwing anything. I was just studying and studying and studying. And the Packers defense looked good. And Mitch, I want to say he looks exactly what I think he's going to be, but I expect improvement from him. He's not that bad. What did you think about that pedestrian offense and the offensive coordination? I mean, the play calling was trash for the Bears. They looked bad in all facets, but their defense looked very good. What is your expectation of the Bears offense moving forward?
I think it's going to improve, and you'll see that markedly because in the NFL, weeks 1 and 2, teams improve more from weeks 1 to 2 than any other development during the season. Now, you're going to get a nice little break for Mitchell Trubisky, as he's going to go back to being Mitch pretty quickly here, but they're going to get a nice break. They played on a Thursday night. They're not going to play the Denver Broncos, who actually play on Monday night and late, so they're going to have a really big advantage heading into that second game versus the Denver Broncos. You'll see them come out a little bit better because what did we pull out of last night that you liked? Mitch doesn't look good. I mean, he was decent last year and enough for them to win. And, hey, if they don't have a double doink against the Philadelphia Eagles, they may go on and win the Super Bowl last year with Mitch Trubisky as the quarterback. I think they'll steadily improve because the one thing that we got clear last night, the number one defense in the NFL is loaded for bear again with the Chicago Bears. If they can just get competent quarterback play, they're going to win the majority of their football games.
Definitely. Boogie Lover Q says trade Mitchell Trubisky. What a bum! I love the hot takes after week 1. I love it. It makes me so happy. This is what I'm on, Donnie RightSide. As you know, I'm already on the Ravens -4.5. I've added Redskins Eagles under 45 at -110. Rams Panthers under 50 at -110. Bengals Seahawks under 44 at -110. Colts +6.5 at -110. Lions -2.5 at -110. New York Giants Dallas under 45.5 at -105. Now that's my actual bets. I got better lines, slightly better lines when I gave them out on the show. I bet them right after. And these are my official futures. As you know, I'm already on the Dolphins under 5.5, Bills over 6.5. These are the rest of my futures. These are official low bag picks right here. Falcons over 8.5 wins at -125. I know that my guy Donnie RightSide's on that as well. Eagles over 9.5 wins at -170, Donnie. It's a lot of juice, but, $200 on it. Rams under 10.5 wins at -145. Eagles to win the NFC East at +100. That didn't change with the Zeke signing. Eagles win NFC +800. Eagles win the Super Bowl +1400. Falcons win NFC South at +375. Falcons win NFC at +1600. Falcons win the Super Bowl at +3300. Chiefs win the AFC at +375. Chiefs win the Super Bowl at +800. That's my action, Donnie. What do you think?
No, that's good. Yeah, hey, we're going to watch it, play out as the season goes along. It's kind of interesting when you take a look last night to try to formulate an opinion on what you think is probably going to happen weeks 1 and week 2. Not really a good look because the Green Bay Packers moving forward, you could say, yeah, their defense looked good. I mean, anybody could have looked good last night against Mitchell Trubisky in that offense. Matt Nagy, I thought, had an absolutely horrible game. But the one thing that you do have to take away is you have to gauge on what the Packers actually are. They're Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and not much else out on the offense. So if you can slow that down, you're going to have a good shot at going after. But again, this is all predicated on the Chicago Bears actually having an offense and moving forward. But what are you going to get out of week 1 on Sunday? Because you saw two teams that didn't really play any starters in the preseason. And that's the effort they gave you on offense. So now if you're trying to translate that over to Sunday and say, well, if I'm looking at some totals and some overs here, if we saw a sloppy game, a ton of penalties, how many times do we see the Chicago Bears take, a delay of game just because the quarterback is not used to calling plays in that setting under that pressure? It's going to happen quite a bit on Sunday, which is great. Well, the first 2 weeks of the season, I sit back, no pressure at all, try to give a good analysis of a game, but you just got to let it play out here. Weeks 3, weeks 4, weeks 5, you'll get a really good idea where these NFL teams are, Jimmy.
Well, I hear that. And also the week of action, my week 1, I did cut down to 3/4 of a unit. Only the Ravens -4.5. Actually, I bet it at 5, but the Ravens is a full unit play. The rest are 3/4 of a unit. That's about as cautious as I could be. Let's take a look. Are you going to make any moves? And I know we'll talk about this heavy on the Audible, so I don't want to go dive into any of these games, but are you going to make a move on any of these plays? I noticed that Atlanta went down to +3.5 and then quickly back to +4. Are you making a move on any of these games? I'm on the under in your Eagles Redskins spot. What is there any moves you're going to make?
Yeah, there's a couple I have here. And the good part about it, Jimmy, is that we can tie this in because I know we've been hyping up the Pick Six contest, which is going to be a lot of fun all season long. I made it really easy for all the shows because I'm going to use the Pick Six contest, Jimmy. Every single week, I'm going to use all 6 of my plays on the NFL. And I'll usually do that by Wednesday or Thursday, have those plays laid out. So that way, for tracking purposes, if anybody wants to look it up, and I'll break down all 5 of those games. And usually I'll save it for the Audible, like our 4 o'clock show a little bit later. But I am digging on a couple of these games, the same ones that we talked about on the Audible back on Tuesday. Really like the New York Jets. I think the Rams. Look, this is being a lot of square because we don't know what's going to happen week 1. Like these teams might come out hard. Nobody's played yet, and you're just rolling them out saying, "Hey, time for a game." Like what other sport do you actually do that? Preseason in Major League Baseball, you get a whole month to ramp up. These guys are pitching. These guys are playing. And in NFL football, you just roll them out there game 1 and see how they respond. It's kind of interesting the way it does work out. So you're going to get some fluky arrangements. But I do have all 6 games in. Last night I did have the Chicago Bears. I have the Jets this weekend, as I said, the Rams this weekend. I love the over in that Tampa Bay game versus the San Francisco 49ers. And I also have the New England Patriots on Sunday Night Football.
Wow. It's interesting to hear that. Did you get the Jets at 3 or -2.5? And what do you think of that move towards Buffalo?
Yeah, I mean, look, I just think, the game plan is the New York Jets are overall a better football team than the Buffalo Bills right now. The Buffalo Bills have the the Jets have a better offensive system right now than the Buffalo Bills. They have a better quarterback on the Jets right now than the Buffalo Bills. They have better wide receivers on the Jets right now. They have a better offensive play caller right now, and they're going to be at home. So I just think the Jets, I got them at I think it's 2.5 on the Pick Six is what I did get them at.
Nice, got them at 2.5 in the Pick Six. That's a game where I'm so excited about it, but I just want to watch.
Yeah.
I just want to watch. And then seeing you on New England, wow, we talked so much about that game, and I'm so close to taking the Steelers, and I have not done it. That's a very, very exciting. There's Viper NB in the house. Andrew Ojwinick says thoughts on the Lions game, Jimmy. We will break down that Lions game very heavy on the Audible today, and we'll have Whale Capper with us. But our thoughts, Donnie and I's thoughts, were pretty much together on this. And this was a slam dunk bet I was going to make before I watched Patricia and the Lions in action all preseason, and then I got scared off of it. But after breaking the game down with Donnie, talking about the skill positions on the Detroit Lions, talking about their offseason moves, so I did take the Lions -2.5. I've got to. My only bet, I haven't figured out my Pick Six contest yet. I need to do that. Right after this show because I haven't locked everything in. Bookie Lover Q says, is the Pick Six working right? I believe it's working right. CT Bay says, Lev Bell will be a difference maker. That's a big move. I'm on 11,025.5 yards under for Le'Veon Bell. Great looks on this football card, Donnie. I can't wait to share the screen with you on the Audible today with Whale Capper. It's easily my favorite hour and a bit of the day. And I like your looks, and you'll probably get me off the Steelers for sure. And I'm going to be watching that Niners Bucks game so closely. So closely. Very exciting. Young Suave says, any college football picks for today? Are you making any moves in NCAA football, Donnie?
No, no moves. I don't really start up until they get back into conference play. More of an NFL looks for me, dear Jimmy.
That makes sense. And Nicholas Fogg says the weak resume of Arizona's coaches must be factored in. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. Chris Smith says New England and New Orleans, easy money. Mr. Gokster says Donnie with a big exclamation mark.
Yeah.
Donnie, let's get to work on this baseball card. We love your team totals. We love how you handle this baseball card. And just want you to take it away. I don't know what games you're on, so lead us to glory, Donnie RightSide in MLB this evening. What are you looking at?
Yeah, no, it's kind of funny. I was shutting down my service at the end of August so I don't make mistakes into September that I've done in the past in Major League Baseball. Maybe I should have kept it open because I'm 6-2 this week again on team totals. The night before I had the Los Angeles Dodgers 5.5 over. That hit easy. Yesterday I had the Cubs 4.5. That one hit easy. There's a couple we're digging on tonight. And again, I like the Friday show. We had some good mojo last week because we don't actually know who's still going to be in the starting lineups for these Major League Baseball teams, but we can get those projected analysis of who we think is going to be in. The first one we'll pick on today, I like the Minnesota Twins right off the bat. 5.5 at FanDuel, 5.5 at DraftKings. So a legitimate number. Pluko's been terrible. And what we like, when you try to factor in, we talked about the same things last week, Jimmy. I want the hot batters at the plate. What do I mean by that? Last 30 days, I don't give a damn if you had a hot April, May, or June. It makes no sense at this point in the season. I want to know if you're hot over the last 30 days. Minnesota does have some batters in the lineup that have done that. Also with pitchers. Boy, did you see how good he was back in April? I don't give a damn how good your pitcher was back in April. I want to see the second half of the season, which obviously starts right around that All-Star break of July 11th. If we take a look at Pluko, he's actually the worst pitcher on the schedule tonight. 3-3 in the second half. Jimmy threw his 9 starts, 51 innings he's pitched in the second half of the season, only striking out 5.65 batters per 9 innings. That's terrible. And if we take a look at the numbers that matter, hey, he has a 4.24 ERA. That's really good. He's getting a little bit lucky because his FIP is 5.39 and his XFIP is a 6.05. Team Bomba is going to be unloading. That's 5.5. I'd like to look there. The one I like even better is a little bit later tonight, and that's going to be on the Oakland Athletics tonight. We're going to pick on Turnbull as a pitcher. Second half of the season for him, Jimmy. Hey, through 8 starts, he's been really good. 0-6 overall, 35 2/3 innings. He does strike out guys at a decent rate, about 8 per 9 innings as a clip. But if we take a look at his ERA in just the second half, 6.21, 5.83 FIP, and a 5.52 XFIP. If we get back to the Minnesota game, Jimmy, they're estimated to have 6 of their 9 eligible batters to have a weighted on base average over the last 30 days, 320 or higher. If we take a look at Oakland, they have the same thing, 6 batters over the last 30 days with a 320 weighted on base average or higher. And getting Ramon Laureano back tonight, they should be able to hit. I like those team totals. Now, the one I do want to caution, the second one, Jimmy, with the Oakland Athletics, it's 5.5 plus 100 at both FanDuel and DraftKings in New Jersey. As we did last week, held off for that better line in the Chicago Cubs game, which was a team total 4 that we got. I want to wait to see. I'll pay the juice for the 5 if I can get it with Oakland, but I like both of those looks. And the final one, Jimmy, just a little bit of a long shot type scenario. At night, we're going to go out to San Diego. I actually like the Rockies tonight, plus 150. Melville's had 3 starts. 2 of them really good, 1 bad, but obviously the 1 bad one was up at Coors. His only away start on the season, 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run. And oh yeah, look at this Padres lineup with Manny Machado hitting .219 over the last 30 days. The projected lineup for them, Jimmy, 8 eligible batters in the National League ballpark. Only 2 of them are above a 320 weighted on base average. I'll take the long number. Give me the 150 with the Rockies tonight.
That's a very, very interesting look with Melville and the Rockies. All of them are good looks. Rockies still have good numbers against righties, even though they are slipping. Wow, very interesting. So we have a team, Rockies being backed by Donnie RightSide, and then we have the team total overs for the A's and for the Twins. Man, very, very, very interesting looks. So at this point, that's going to help us so much, at least help me so much in my study. Can I start breaking down a couple games with you beside me?
Let's do it, man. What do we got?
Perfect. Well, the next game on our list that we haven't touched on is a big, big encounter in Atlanta. Nationals, Braves, 87 Fahrenheit clear, 10 miles per hour, out to straightaway center. Corbin Keuchel. Keuchel's been red hot lately. He's pitching very well. So if we look at Keuchel's numbers against the Nationals, 5 career starts, 0-3, 5.08 ERA. 0-2 this year, 6.10 ERA. But since August 14th, 3-0 with a 1.08 ERA. And obviously, he started the season so late, he needed to get time under his belt. Corbin, spectacular numbers against the Braves. 11 appearances, 6-1, 1.96 ERA, 58 Ks, 59 2/3. Faced Atlanta twice this year, 1-0, 3.27 ERA. Won his last start against Miami. 3 runs, 3 hits, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. Rendon is smashing. Man, this is a tricky spot. Braves have won 7 straight, 11 in a row at home. They've won 15 of 17 overall. They're just a dangerous team. We know the Nationals smash lefties 281, 824. The Braves hit lefties very hard, 260, 795 OPS. Let's see what number we're dealing with. Market moves here at sportsbookreview.com, the SBR odds page, money lines, and totals in this Nats-Braves game. We have the Nats opening up at minus 105. They're now at minus 113. This total opened up at 9.5, now at 9. Is there an angle you see us working with here? Nationals-Braves, Donnie.
You know, it's interesting when you take a look at this baseball game. You have 2 really good pitchers, especially over the second half of the season. You have lefties, which is usually when you like to fire on the Washington Nationals. They usually handle them pretty well. But you just take a look at this number, and it sort of makes sense because Corbin overall is the better pitcher than Dallas Keuchel is. You have a hot lineup for the Washington Nationals, and both of these teams theoretically are going to be in the playoffs, maybe trying to jockey for position. If something goes wrong for the Atlanta Braves, maybe they can take over that top lead in the NL East. But doesn't it just boil down to when you look at this game, and forget about having a decided edge depending on what your numbers are. You say Atlanta. I mean, this is a really good baseball team, much better than I actually thought they would have been over the basis of the entire season. Doesn't matter if their guys are getting injured, they're using young pitchers well, their bullpen's hanging together, and they're getting some timely hitting. But sometimes it boils down to, it says, who's getting the plus money in this game? Plus 104, plus 103 for the Atlanta Braves at home. If Keuchel gives an honest performance, they'll be in this game. So I'd lean just towards taking. They're both really good baseball teams. They can both win this, but if you're going to give me plus money with the home team and a hot Braves lineup, I can't pass on the Braves.
That does make sense. Dom Ricci had the under last night and Nats, and so he split. He's going to go right back with the Nats and the under. DP Slap is saying Corbin is a lefty. Yes, we've been mentioning both teams' numbers against lefties. Did I say that wrong? Because yes, they're both definitely lefties. Did I accidentally say because we were talking about how both teams smash lefties. Interesting look, Donnie moving towards the Braves at home at a plus price. And I don't blame him with the way Keuchel's been pitching. Let's move on to Angels, White Sox. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I have backed the White Sox on the -1 line. I am backing Lucas Giolito here. I am fading this Angels bullpen. Angels flying into Chicago. 71 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 11 miles per hour out to right field. And we just like backing the White Sox against lefties. 273, 751 OPS. I know that it's a little uncomfortable taking the White Sox at this big of a favorite, 33-35, just 33-35 at home. But I am backing Giolito here. Should I have any fear going into this, Donnie?
I mean, I don't think you should have any fear because I think it comes down to what the Los Angeles Angels are going to give you from the pitching perspective with Dylan Peters. I don't like their bullpen. I don't necessarily like their lineup. And you do like the fact that Giolito's still a young pitcher. He's a flamethrower. He has the ability to strike guys out. I like where you're going in this direction, Jimmy, to be honest with you.
Nice. I like Giolito, and I'm not afraid of Dylan Peters. 1-2, 4.67 ERA, 6 appearances in August, 5 starts. No decision last start, 4 runs, 3 earned. He did look pretty good against the Red Sox. All right, Cubs, Brewers, Donnie, Hamels, Davies. Both pitchers have looked bad. Hamels 1-2, 6.33 ERA in his last 6 starts since returning from that strain left oblique. He is 1-1 with a 1.88 ERA in 4 starts against Milwaukee this season. 8-4, 3.27 ERA, 19 career starts against the Brewers. Brewers are 9-12 in their last 21. And Zach Davies, 0-5, 7.76 ERA in his last 6 starts for Milwaukee. Does not look good. He's traditionally been pretty good against the Cubs, but these are 2 bad pitchers, so the volatility skyrockets. Cubbies open up at -113 and now -111. 2-cent move towards the Brewers. The total opens up at 9.5 at -110. It's now juiced to the over at -119. So a 9-cent move towards the over. Donnie, what do you think about this Cubbies Brew Crew spot?
Yeah, we take a look at the Chicago Cubs. They have their eyes on the prize, like sitting there. They think they're going to get in the playoffs. They need every game. And who do you trust more in this game overall, lineup-wise and bullpen-wise? To me, it's going to be the Chicago Cubs. I know Cole Hamels has been struggling, yes, but he's a playoff performance pitcher. He's been there, done that, World Series MVP. It was a little bit of time ago, obviously, being back in 2008 with the Philadelphia Phillies, but that goes a long way. When you take a look at Zach Davies, especially in his second half of the season, 1-5 through 39 and 2/3 innings, only striking out, again, about 5 guys per 9 innings, and that's a National League pitcher, so you're getting a chance to strike out the pitcher quite a bit. And when you take a look at his xFIP of 5.65, has some similarities to last night. That Cubs lineup should get off tonight. I like the Cubs.
Yeah, Cubs have now won 6 straight on the road. They're just rolling. They have not lost on the road since August 16th in Pittsburgh, and I need them to win that division. I got the Cubs at +130, and I have 2 units on it, so I am cheering for this Cubs squad, and I am cheering for the Pirates as well. Let's keep, you know what? let's just go over Donnie's looks again on this show. He's got 2 team total overs. He's backing 2 team total overs, and those are the Twins. Let me get to it, sorry, right now. Donnie's on the Twins team total over and the A's team total over, and he's backing the Rockies on a plus line. Brett Bet says he gave out Bears -3, now disappears. That was the very first thing Donnie mentioned, was that he gave out the Bears -3. We're all about honesty and accountability here, and that was the very first thing Donnie mentioned. So please don't say that he's disappearing from that, because that's not the case. It was the very first thing he said on the show. Donnie RightSide, I can't wait to be on the Audible with you today. I've locked in my action, but hearing that you're on the Patriots I'm very thankful that I have not locked in the Steelers, because that was very close. I was so close to pressing send. I was so close, and I did not. But great stuff, Donnie RightSide. Thank you so much for joining us. Where can we find you on Twitter? And tell us about your big Sunday morning show.
Yeah, at RightSide VP on Twitter, as always, Monday through Friday, right here on WCKG Radio, which, again, I know back in our low bag chat, Hustle and Flow from down in Miami, next week we will be taking guests on their 10 to 15-minute spots. So I know a lot of those guys already had asked me to get on there. We're going to have a lot of fun with that show, give a lot of good information, but also, yes, one of my favorite shows of the week, 12 p.m. on Sunday, the closing line. How much fun is that going to be? Just talking football right up till kickoff and then flipping it back on. No better time to be here on the channels throughout Sportsbook View. And Jimmy, by the way, I can't wait for the Audible today. We have a full slate. We broke it down Tuesday. We're going to hammer in the final details. The Whale Capper comes on with us as well to bounce it back and forth. And maybe this week we'll start hanging those head-to-head numbers between me, you, and the Whale Capper. Should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. It's like week 1 of like the next 25 weeks of football. This is the time to be alive for tuning into sportsbookreview.com.
Oh, without a doubt. I'm pretty nervous having my record up with you guys, but you know what? You hopefully in all aspects of life and sports, you rise to the level of your competition. So that's what I hope I'm going to do. And my fault to Brett Betts. He was talking about Tomorino, not Donnie. Okay, my fault. Tomorino, not Donnie. Sorry. I love enormous. I have so much respect for the honesty and transparency that we have on the show. So it makes me very, very proud. Donnie RightSide, thank you so much for joining us. Follow this man, RightSide VP on Twitter. Check out his show Sunday morning, and also check out our Audible tonight at 4 p.m. Eastern. Donnie, have a great Friday, and can't wait to see you in a few hours.
Yep, we'll talk soon, man. Have a good day out there, chat box. Thanks for tuning in. Audible today. Let's get after it. Take care.
Beautiful. There he is. Donnie RightSide. We go from legend to legend. We go from Donnie RightSide to Teddy Covers, joining us from Las Vegas, Nevada on this Friday morning. Teddy, how are you holding up this morning, my man?
Well, I'll tell you what. I've had better mornings, to be honest, Jimmy, because like Donnie, I had the Bears last night, and I was half right with that game. The Bears' defense was the best unit on the field. Unfortunately, the Bears' offense was the worst unit on the field. You tell me before the game, Green Bay scoring 10 tonight. How much you going to bet on Chicago? You know, as much as you can get down. But unfortunately, I mean, that was a pretty ugly offensive showing from the Bears, start to finish. And Trubisky's pick into double coverage at the end of the game just put the icing on the cake. Give you guys credit. Good call on Green Bay. Those of you who had the Packers, I was wrong on that one. Hopefully I won't be wrong all weekend, though. Just one. It's not the good thing we want going to the weekend, but it's not necessarily a harbinger of things to come.
Oh, no way. It's week 1. You know, it's week 1. I was on the sidelines, but I had the same thing happen to me in the Red Sox game. You had told me the Twins are going to score 2 runs. Yeah. We got Martin Perez on the mound. How much are you going to bet on the Red Sox? Very, very disappointing spot there, and it hurt me very badly. Teddy Covers, let's get to work, and let's talk about your NFL looks before we get into NCAA football. And for you guys in the chat, I know that you're really enjoying having Teddy answering questions and having the live chat going on, so feel free to ask any questions on NCAA football. I will copy and paste them, and I will ask our guy Teddy Covers about them. But let's talk about this NFL card. Let me tell you what I'm on, and then we will see what you think about that, or what spots that you do like. Let me just grab here we go. This is my card at this point. At this point. I'm on let's just go quickly through and just bang out if you like it or don't like it. First off, I'm on Redskins, Eagles, under 45 at -105. What do you think of that look?
Good number. Wouldn't talk you out of it. Not anything I have a strong opinion on.
All right. Then I am on Rams, Panthers under 50 at minus 105.
Yeah, I wouldn't talk you out of that one either. Again, not anything that I bet myself, but certainly not anything that I have any objection to whatsoever. Although I am concerned about, LA came out and scored 30 plus each of their first 5 games last year, despite the fact they didn't play anyone in the preseason. So that's a little bit of a concern for me in that one, but not. It's not like I'm not wouldn't talk you out of it. It's not anything that I bet the other way or was even considering a bet the other way.
I'm on Bengals Seahawks under 44 at minus 103. What do you think of that?
I wouldn't argue with that at all. Since he's going to have problems scoring in this game, they've got injuries at both tackle positions, which are a big concern, are going to Seattle. My biggest concern about this game going over would be a defensive or special team score. But these two offenses not likely to get over 44, in my opinion. No argument at all there, Jimmy.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm on Colts plus 6.5 at minus 105.
I have very mixed feelings about that game, to be perfectly honest. Part of me thinks that Indy is primed to play well. We like Frank Reich. We certainly like the roster that surrounds the quarterback position. We have a Chargers team, with no Derwin James, no Russell Okung, a Chargers team that struggled coming out of the gate in recent seasons. But we have the other factor, which is Jacoby Brissett against Phillip Rivers. And, I've seen enough for Brissett now to say this is not a QB who's going to be in the top half of NFL quarterbacks this year. We've seen him start for a full season. We saw him this preseason. I don't trust Brissett to move the football up and down the field. So, yeah, I can understand the lean towards Indy. I can understand playing Indy because the Chargers not an easy team to play lay points with, especially this time of the year, and especially considering they have very little home field edge. But Brissett, I want to see Brissett against a real defense move the football before I bet him. So, again, I'm not talking you out of it by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not betting the other way, but it's not one I'll get to the window with Indy plus.
I'm on Lions minus 2.5 at minus 105 at the Cardinals.
So that's an impossible game for me. And talk to me about that one, Jimmy, because why do you like the Lions there? Because this is a story for me where I don't trust Detroit to lay points. Detroit stunk in the preseason. They stunk last year. They stunk last preseason. I'm not convinced they bought into Patricia. Matt Stafford doesn't win on the road, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Arizona's got a bunch of stuff they haven't shown on film. Is it going to work? I don't know. Their offensive line and defensive line looked as weak as any in football in the preseason. I'm not in any rush to take the Cardinals in this one. But when you're talking about laying points with the Lions on the road, I can't get to the window with that. But again, I'm not betting the other way. So it's not anything I'm going to try to talk you out of.
I do not think that Murray is able to read defenses fast enough with that atrocious offensive line. That's the whole thinking behind this. This was a slam dunk play I wanted to make 2 months ago, and Jin Rummy made it, months and months and months ago, so that he got the pick'em price, and that's spectacular work by Jin Rummy. When I watched Patricia in the preseason, I was not going to make this bet anymore, and I don't, Patricia doesn't have a job if he's not the defensive coordinator, the pseudo defensive coordinator. We all know that Belichick is the defensive coordinator of the Patriots, and we have all these Patriot defensive coordinators that get head coaching jobs based on Belichick's work. But I think the offensive line is so weak for the Cardinals, and I don't think that Murray's capable of making fast enough decisions. It comes down to that. I think that there's a pick six involved with the Lions. I think that Murray gets a taste of how difficult it is without a good offensive line, and that's simply that. That is the main part of me making this decision.
When you talk about Patricia, it's definitely worth noting, and this is worth talking about with Brissett as well. Name me one Tom Brady backup quarterback who's gone on and had success anywhere else.
Well, hopefully we'll see that this year.
Now, yeah, exactly. Jimmy G is the one possibility of a guy who has that. The other issue, and it's very similar. Name me one former Belichick assistant that's gone on and been a great head coach somewhere.
Zero.
It's Belichick. It's all Belichick. Everything that's happened in New England for the last 20 years is one guy who was given the power to run an organization and has run it as efficiently and effectively as any coach in football. He's obsessed with details. Belichick works every night until 2 a.m. and gets up at 5 and sits at his desk and starts working again. That's what he does, and that's what he demands of his assistants. And they don't do that when they go to other jobs. They're like, oh, I'm in charge now. And with the quarterbacks, I mean, so again, getting back to the Lions and the Cardinals, it's one of these situations where anytime you see a Belichick assistant or a former Belichick QB somewhere, you downgrade them a little bit. And Patricia did nothing last year or so far this year to say, yeah, maybe he is going to be an upper echelon head coach. I've seen none of that yet. Now, Kingsbury's getting a lot of pub. And I'm with you on Murray. I mean, the rookie QB with a bunch of hype in his first start doesn't tend to go well in the NFL. But Detroit, not a team I'm excited about laying points with on the road against anybody.
I hear you and I feel you completely. And I also don't know why people are shining all this light on Kingsbury. I mean, the guy gets fired from Tech. Is 3 losing seasons in a row. Why are people so high on Cliff Kingsbury? You know him much, much better than I. Why are people high on him?
Well, he's got a good personality, and they're friendly with him. And he's friendly with the reporters, and they find him interesting. And that's what it takes to get credit from mainstream media and college football. They got to like you, and people like Cliff Kingsbury. That's what it comes down to. In terms of will he be an effective head coach? I mean, look, he's a charismatic guy. He's a good leader, et cetera, et cetera. There's enough. He's not one of these. He's not Bill Belichick. He's not a curmudgeon, and that will, when you're nice to the beat reporters, guess what? The beat reporters like you, and then you start getting good pub. When you're nice to all the reporters, and all the reporters like you, and then you start getting good pub. That works for Kingsbury. It has so far in Arizona. How long that lasts after the Cardinals start losing is another question entirely. But coming out of the gate, he's certainly a head coach who has attracted the mainstream media's attention, which means absolutely nothing about his ability to win football games.
Yeah, that is exactly the end. That makes a ton of sense because it's not from his skill set on the sidelines, at least from what I've seen. I'm on the Giants at Cowboys. Actually, you know what I should say? There's about 4 or 5 guys who've come in liking the under in this Lions-Cardinals spot. I'm too afraid of Murray putting his team in terrible field position, and I'm a little afraid of his. He's going to go for it. It's going to be sold out, packed crowd. I'm a little worried about that under, but a lot of guys in the chat like it. What do you think of this under in Lions-Cardinals?
That is not an under I would bet. And this is why. All right. Arizona basically ran 6 plays in the preseason, and they never ran any no huddle. They never went up tempo. And I would anticipate from everything that I've read, heard, and seen is that Arizona is going to run more than 6 plays. There's going to be nothing on film. That's another issue for them. I mean, they have nothing on film about what Arizona wants to do. And do you trust Patricia to make the halftime adjustments appropriately? Not necessarily. So on the one hand, you have a high-octane offense with no film on it. On the other hand, you have a Cardinals secondary that is without, Patrick Peterson, and they got a couple other, one of the only teams that's banged up going into week 1. Arizona's got some concerns in the secondary. So, no, I wouldn't play the under in this one. Over or pass for me.
I was a little taken aback by seeing everybody on the under because it does scare me. I'm also on the Giants-Cowboys under 45.5 at -103.
You like these totals, Jimmy. You're a total guy, huh? More than the sides in the NFL? Is that tend to be your MO, or is it just what it stood out for week 1?
For me, I've been going over what went wrong, what went right last year, what went wrong, what went right the last 2 years because I have all that information still from being down here. And I hit on unders in week 1 and week 2 at a higher percentage than I do anything else.
That's fair enough. You know what? I want to talk about that before I talk about this game for a minute, if that's okay, Jimmy, because I'll stand on a soapbox for a minute. But what Jimmy just said might be the single most important piece of advice you out there in viewerland are getting all day, all week, all month. Track your results. Get yourself a spreadsheet and track every bet you make. Every one of them. And then, when you're not all freaked out in the off season, go look at every bet you made and say, this is what's working, this is what isn't working. Wow, I struggled with favorites early in the season. Wow, I struggled with underdogs mid-season. Wow, my overs in week 1 and week 2 were garbage. Whatever it is, you will find patterns. You will find things that maybe you're a little bit better at or maybe you're a little bit worse at. That self-examination, you're cross-examining yourself. Was this a good bet? Why did I make this bet? Was the rationale right? I call it a post-mortem. I try to do it every week with my bets. What can I learn? What did I do wrong? What was a good bet? What was stupid? Did I bet at the right time? Did I bet at the wrong time? Every single wager after you make it deserves a second look to help you for your next group of wagers. So what Jimmy was talking about, hey, I've got every bet I made for the last 2 years in the NFL right here. Do that. If you don't, I mean, that's to get to the next level. Those are the type of things that you have to do, is track them accurately. Don't forget stuff. You want to make sure that you have, your half times and your in games, and every bet that you make is going to get tracked. When it comes to the Giants and the Cowboys and the total for this ball game, I wouldn't talk at it, but I absolutely have no feel for this game at all. This is not a game I'm even close to betting on this weekend. I don't know if Dallas is going to air it out. I don't know what the receiving core is going to look like. I don't know if Zeke's going to be ready. I don't know if Saquon's going to go nuts in this game. I don't know if Eli's going to be throwing downfield or it's all dink and dunk. I do trust the Cowboys defense. That's the one unit out of the four that I really trust. I like Dallas defensively. But other than that, I've got a ton of question marks about that game. And for me, that's a game I have to watch, but I cannot bet, at least not before kickoff.
I'm a little upset that I've made as many bets as I've made. I was hoping to only have like 3 or 4, but I did cut down my unit size for week 1. So at least I did that. These are 3/4 unit bets, not full unit bets. The only full unit bet is the Ravens bet that I made 2 weeks ago.
Good bet.
Moving in the right direction there. I wish I only made 4, but it's hard. It's just, and it's something that you're helping me with. Jin Rummy's helping me with. And I did it last night. I did not bet on the first game of the NFL season because what? Because I need to scratch that itch? No, I enjoyed it. I watched it. I studied it, had a beer, and I didn't lose my mind watching it. All right, let's move on to college college football. We have some questions here from the chat. I have copied and pasted them. Anybody in the chat who has more questions, feel free to just drop them in the chat, and I will ask. We have this game. It keeps being talked about. We can't get away from this Maryland Syracuse game. Everybody wants to know about it. This huge swing from one team to the other makes me just not want to play it. But Bookie Lover Q starts. He says, ask Teddy about Maryland. I was on them before the line move.
So I ran into this stat this morning. You'll like this one. Since November 2013, Maryland, coming off a home game in which they covered, 0-15 against the spread. Yikes.
Wow.
The Terps have not been able to put together 2 good games in a row. I had Syracuse last week at Liberty, and there were some real concerns for me in that. I got the win. I got the money. There were some big concerns to me in that game about Tommy DeVito's ability to throw the football around. And this is a kid who I wasn't necessarily impressed with when he got his opportunities at backup last year. He came in with, the reports and the reviews were good from DeVito at camp, and then we saw it against Liberty. That, a lot of dink and dunks. Very little of the acumen that his predecessor had for Syracuse last year. So I've got my concerns about the Orange. But when it comes to the 2 defenses, boy, I've got Syracuse's defense ranked a whole lot fair bit higher than Maryland. This is a game I was kind of on the fence on, and I understood why the Maryland money came because of DeVito. But if I had to play the game now, and I don't, but if I had to play it, I would take Syracuse plus before I laid anything with Maryland. That 0-15 angle certainly stands out.
Yeah, and that's what Comic Ricky says. My guy Comic Ricky says, I took Q's plus 2.5, and Big Ragoo says, that's a winner right there. That's a winner, Ricky. Interesting. Okay, you would take Syracuse plus 2.5 right now. All right, Dolo. Our guy Dolo says Ohio versus Pittsburgh. He's on Ohio at plus 4. And that was something, I believe we had it at plus 5, about 48 hours ago. Ohio versus Pittsburgh. Dolo's on Ohio plus 4.
Yeah, this is a very popular wise guy choice. In fact, this game opened as high as 6. Was sitting at 5 for most of the week and bet down to 4 in the last 24 hours. So unfortunately, you didn't get the best of the number. That being said, from a pure power rating standpoint, my number on this game was 1. So you can make a case that Ohio U is every bit as good player for player as Pitt is. Disappointing loss for Pitt last week. It's in theory a bounce back spot for them. But, so let's just go out. They hang tough year in, year out. They've been able to step up in class. I have no problems whatsoever taking the Bobcats plus the points in this one, although unfortunately The number has gotten away from you a little bit, but I don't freak out. If it moves from 5 to 4, again, once in a while that will hurt you. You want to get the best of the number every time, but when it's not moving off of a key number, you can't say, I'm definitely not going to play it because it moved from 5 to 4. No, it's okay. If it lands 5, you're screwed, and it happened, and that does happen sometimes. But from a percentage standpoint, not likely to happen very often compared to when it moves off of a 3 or a 7 or a 10 or a 14 or the other key numbers in football.
Yeah, no, great stuff. Nothing Ordinary Sports says I'll take Ohio money line. And I was sorry, Big Roo was talking about Ricky being on the Giants at plus 7.5. Backing Eli at plus 7.5. Man, I can't wait for that game. I can't wait for all these games. Yes, Bleds W. I will copy and paste that. We've got a bunch of questions first for Teddy, but I will get to that. Next question is from our Brooke Jordan, whom we love dearly. She says, "Will Western Michigan cover the spread against Michigan State?" And Andrew Wojcicki, who is our guy as well, says, "I'd say yes, Brooke. State can't blow out anybody." Teddy covers.
That's it. It's a fascinating game. Sparty last week, their defense was absolutely insanely dominant. All right, their offense couldn't do anything against Tulsa. The question is that Sparty? Is that week 1 jitters? Or is that Tulsa's defense? And honestly, every report all summer is Michigan State's opening up the offense this year. Returning quarterback, the rookies can play, the offensive line's there. Expect to see points for the Spartans. And it didn't show in week 1. That doesn't mean that I automatically downgrade the Spartans. What they wanted to do offensively in the offseason, it didn't work, it didn't take. This is the game that we find that out. Because, number one, Tulsa's defense is good. And you grade them out, they're really good, and that's why they're laying points at San Jose this week. And I'm interested in the Hurricanes laying almost a touchdown on the road. That's how good that defensive front is. Second is that Sparty's defense isn't giving up anything to anyone. That's defense is there. But it's also a one-way rivalry game. Western Michigan, this is the biggest game of the year for a lot of these kids. And for Michigan State, not so much. And we've seen the kids from Kalamazoo come into East Lansing and win straight up on more than one occasion since I've been in Las Vegas. So it's a game that when Michigan State's not paying attention, they can get slapped around. But my impression is Sparty's paying attention this week. And I wouldn't be surprised to see that offense open up a little bit against a weaker defense they faced last week. I wouldn't take the dog in this one, even though, like I said, it is a one-way rivalry in the other direction. I think Sparty, there's a big class difference here. And I think Michigan State has the potential to light up the scoreboard. And if they don't, this will be the week that I downgrade Sparty in my power rating significantly because that offense isn't working. One game wasn't enough for me to make any type of significant adjustment, especially because their defense was the most dominant unit on the field.
Oh man, that's an exciting game. Our Trotwam and Nothing Ordinary Sports says Western Michigan will cover. 40-ounce beer belly dude is on 2 looks, and the second look I've seen a lot of people on. He's on the under on Boise, and he says Washington covers over Cal. What do you think of those 2 spots for our guy, 40-ounce beer belly dude?
The first one I hate. The second one I love. I like. The first one I hate. Hate and love is too strong for that. First one I like. The second one I don't. The first one I don't like. I expect I have money in my pocket on Marshall Boise State over tonight, and I'm not expecting an under in that game. This is what Marshall can do. Okay, this is not a defense that's going to stop Boise. All right, if Boise wants to run, they'll be able to run. If Boise wants to throw, they'll be able to throw. I expect them to have a balanced attack. And again, it's an offense that ran 105 plays last week. Boise capable of ball control and putting the ball in the end zone. Marshall's defense isn't going to stop that. But I do think the Thundering Herd are capable of putting up some points in this one. Plenty of skill position talent, a veteran quarterback, and an offensive line who can protect them. I think it might be the best offensive line in CUSA. So I'm looking for an over tonight on the blue turf in Boise. The second game was the one Washington. Yeah. Okay, so here's the story, right? Huskies lose a 4-year starter at quarterback in Jake Browning, NFL player. I think they're better. Browning's a stiff. Browning was a stiff. Browning couldn't get the job done against good defenses ever. And they don't have that problem anymore with Easton. Not any stretch. And the problem I have with laying with Washington and why I didn't make my card is I still believe in that Cal defense. That Cal defense shut down the Huskies last year. the 12-10 final. Washington was, was laying 3 touchdowns. They didn't even get the 3 touchdowns. Didn't even sniff 3 touchdowns. And that Cal defense might be every bit as good this year as it was a season ago. Wilcox hasn't found an offense yet, but defensively, Cal might be a tough team to lay points against. So I lean Washington. I have not pulled the trigger with an actual wager on the Huskies yet. And I won't at 14. If it gets to 13 and back down to 13.5, I'd be much more likely to pull the trigger than I would at the full 2 touchdowns.
I like it. We want to hear what made your card. So we have too many questions coming in. I will take a look at these 2 here, though, because they put so much energy and time into our show. First is our guy Bleds W says, can you ask Teddy about the Auburn game? We have been talking about it all week, but Bleds W deserves the love. Can you ask Teddy about the Auburn game? And we've spoken about it. Has anything changed in your analysis, and are you making a move on Saturday?
No, I'm really not going to play the game. I don't know that this is an opponent that Auburn's going to be fully focused against, and Tulane can be tricky if Auburn is not fully focused. And look, there's a lot of love for Willie Fritz in the betting markets here in Vegas, and I can understand why. He's been he's a head coach that people seem to be drawn to in the Cliff Kingsbury kind of a way, which doesn't make him a bad head coach or a good head coach. It means that he's a good leader of men. And it's clearly shown the Tulane program much better now than it was when Willie Fritz got there. So I don't know if Auburn is fully focused, but I don't know if it matters. Tulane jumped out on FIU last week and led 21-0 early and blew them out early in that ball game. As the game progressed, it was a 2-way game, and maybe that early start, you don't want to make the hot start early. You don't want to make too much of it, but this is not an explosive offense. This is not an offense I trust to put up points against Auburn, and it's not an offense that I trust, a defense that I trust to get stops against the Tigers either. So it's from a spot standpoint, it's a clear Tulane spot. But I don't know if the matchups work as well, and from a point spread standpoint, it's relatively cheap for an SEC team at home in a game where they will hold big edges on both sides of the line of scrimmage.
Man, yeah, because I was really making a case for Tulane earlier in the week, and I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger. Final question, and then I'd like to hear what you like best, is from our big Ragu. He says, Jimmy, I really want Teddy's look on Miami, North Carolina. Nobody is really talking this game, and I have a major opinion here. Teddy covers. We watched the Hurricanes in that Week 0 game, all of us, all the guys together down in Miami. Do you like them here this Saturday?
So this is a fascinating game. You can make a case that North Carolina is a team, in a sense, that's like Louisville, where last year's results were so bad, and the team, they quit on the coach and quit on their season, and as soon as a new coach comes in, they're automatically 10 points better because the personnel on hand is a lot better than the way they played a year ago, and the powering numbers are wrong on North Carolina coming into the season because of their failures. So you can make a case the Tar Heels are and continue to be an undervalued commodity coming into the season. All that being said, Miami's real, and I think North Carolina's got a little bit of work to do. And because of that, and I don't know that I want to lay with Darren Williams and making his first road start. I'm pretty confident I don't. But there was a big move towards the Tar Heels early in the week, and the money came back the other way. Wise guys just said North Carolina's focus might not be there off the big win against South Carolina.
Wow. I can't wait to hear Ragu break that game down. Do check it out Saturday mornings. Ragu, Big Boss, Babano, and Drew Martin. Check it out. Sean Childress is on North Carolina +5. Let's move on to what you like. Let's move on to what you are interested in for this Saturday. We've thrown a bunch of questions to you. We've asked you questions all week long. We've heard breakdowns through all these games all week long. What has your attention? What moves will you be making on Saturday? Oh, we have, okay, bring it back. All right, we lost Teddy's audio there for a second. We're going to get Teddy's audio.
No, my fault.
There we go. Okay, Teddy back in action. Yeah. I thought that would have been a hilarious move, though. A hilarious move when we want to know Teddy's card.
Yeah. Live audio. But I was coughing during the breaks. I hit the mute and then forgot to put it back on. All my fault. No, human. Damn it, I hate being human. I like Rutgers plus the points at Iowa. Looking at the Scarlet Knights as a team, I like the fact that they got slapped around early last week and then responded well to that adversity and played a great game the rest of the way. This is a Rutgers team that got blown out in every road game last year. Now, this one a little bit circled after getting dominated in every road game last year from the quotes I was reading from Chris Ash this week. And Iowa's just not a blowout team. So I took Rutgers plus the 20. I think there's still 19.5s out there. But that was one that stood out to me. Late night action, I like Minnesota. Minus the 3 at Fresno. Late night, they beat Fresno last year. They stole the game from Fresno. Fresno was like, we got this one circled. So do the Gophers. We saw last week, again, USC completely dominated Fresno. Then the quarterback got hurt, and they were just trying to get out of town. And the next thing you know, the Fresno's in the end, throwing for the end zone at the end of the game with a chance to tie it. I don't see, again, Minnesota's quarterback gets hurt. That might happen here, but Fresno is not as good as they were last year. That was very clear to me last week. And the fact that they showed up and covered against USC, I think there's legit value betting against them. And, they're in revenge mode. A game that came down to the wire last year, an interception in the end zone. Saved the game for Minnesota. Gophers know Fresno's coming to play. I think Minnesota brings their A game. I like Minnesota minus the points in Fresno. And how about the late night bailout special? We talked about that over in Hawaii, right? They're betting the under right now. It's down to 77. Where does Hawaii get stops in this game? Where does Oregon State get stops in this game? Both teams are going to throw the ball 40, 50 times. Pace will be insane. You got to stay up till 3 a.m. on the East Coast to watch it. But I like Oregon State, Hawaii over the total, especially now the number's been bet down. Again, 77 and a half on the SBR odds screen as we speak.
Look at those moves. I like those moves. We got Rutgers plus the points. We got Minnesota minus 3. And Teddy gave us Minnesota minus 3 early in the week. We had people liking Fresno. We had people backing Fresno early in the week. And then Teddy started talking about Minnesota. And right now, we have people backing Minnesota. We have Pink Eye Genie on Minnesota minus 3. We have Shell Dog on the Gophers. Also, Nothing Ordinary Sports says, I don't like Iowa. Says, I like Rutgers too. Iowa lost Noah Fant. And Andy Harris saying Oregon State should switch QBs. I like this look. I like the look of all three of these spots. Teddy is on Rutgers, Minnesota minus 3, and the Hawaii over. Love this. Teddy covers. Let's switch quickly back to NFL. What are your favorite looks in the NFL come this Sunday?
I didn't go nuts for week 1 by any stretch of the imagination. I laid with Baltimore. I laid early. 4.5 with the Ravens, obviously. Even at 6.5, I understand that's a one-way game. That the books are only taking Ravens money. No one's betting Miami. I don't care. I don't. I don't know what the Dolphins are going to do to be competitive this year. I certainly don't know what they're going to do to be competitive week 1. And we know what Baltimore did last year, 47-3 on opening day. That stands out. I laid with Philly. I understand that the number's gone up. I laid 8. I think it was 8.5 or 8. I got to look on my spreadsheet where I'm tracking all of my results. But I laid 8.5. Even at 10 right now, I don't want any part of the Redskins coming into the season. No part whatsoever of Washington. And the way I'm looking to make money for week 1 of the NFL season is to find some of the very worst teams and bet against them, and or find some of the very best teams to bet on them. The markets are not in tune with how bad the bad teams are. That's why I don't mind betting against a Miami or against a Washington in week number 1. Those are the two that stood out to me from a side standpoint. It's not a week where I went nuts making bets. We'll get there in the NFL, but week 1 wasn't a week where there were a bunch of games jumping off the page at me. I kept it fairly light for myself and my clients this week.
That makes a ton of sense. I would like to hear your thoughts before we put a bow on this on the big Sunday nighter. God, how exciting is this Sunday nighter going to be? Steelers, Patriots. I was close to pulling the trigger on the Steelers plus 6. Donnie's on the Patriots. What I did last year, and it really worked, was when I had a play, if Donnie and Whale Capper were on the other side, I just let it go. I just let it go. And that really, really worked for me. As soon as I started doing that, my numbers started, my ROI and my unit size started, or my units started going up very quickly. So I may do that here with Donnie on the Patriots. Do you have a feel on this game? And do you think that Belichick is not going to open up the playbook because there is a fear that these teams could meet in the playoffs? Do you think that Belichick throws a very pedestrian offense at Tomlin? And so what are your thoughts on the side and the total in the big Sunday nighter?
So my thoughts on New England in general coming into the season, this is a team, Jimmy, don't expect to see Brady throwing the football 30 times a game. This is a team that's going to be built on running the football and playing defense. And teams that are built on running the football and playing defense tend to be under teams. And you don't see a lot of 50s. This was as high as 53 at the open. 49 and a half right now. The Patriots, again, we saw the last two NFL real games that we've seen have both been defensive scrums, let's just say, in New England and LA in the Super Bowl, and then the Bears and the Packers last night. But don't be surprised if we see more of that from the Patriots this season. That was Belichick's MO coming into the league. That's what Belichick, he doesn't mind uglying it up. And I come into the season thinking that Pittsburgh is a little bit undervalued. I don't think they lose a ton, despite the fact that both Brown and Bell have moved on to greener pastures. It's not like they don't have weapons at receiver or running back. It's not like they don't have big play guys for Big Ben to deal with. But against this defense, I'm expecting a fairly conservative game plan. This one doesn't feel like a shootout to me. I lean under, although, again, I haven't bet it, and I already missed the best of the number, so I'm probably not going to bet it. But if I had a free wager for this game, that'd be the one I would make.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Man, God, I can't wait for that game. You know what? To me, I think we're going to have another enormous football game where I just watch and I'm not sweating and I don't have to take my shirt off and drink heavily.
That's good, Jimmy, though, because, again, the more games you can watch and focus on without making a bet on, guess what? That's when you really learn about teams. When you have a bet and you're sweating that team, you're not watching the game with any degree of objectivity. When you have no wager, you're watching the game with the ultimate degree of objectivity, and that will help you moving forward.
That's well put. I know that these lessons that I'm listening, and Pete always said, listen, and I'm listening, and I'm going to start using these plays because I got to cut my quantity down. What a treat it was. This was our first week of Teddy Covers every single morning, and man, I loved every second of it. Thank you so much for joining us, Teddy Covers. Have a spectacular weekend. Where can we find you on Twitter? How can we follow all of your action?
It's real simple. You follow me on Twitter at Teddy_Covers. We'll be tweeting out all weekend long. All I do is sit in my office and tweet Saturday and Sunday, pretty much from morning, noon, and night. So follow me at Teddy_Covers. And we'll see you on Monday, Jimmy. I'll be here, hopefully, with some winning bets to talk about.
Yes. Now that my records are going to be up with Whale Capper and Donnie RightSide in the Audible show, I would like to get off on a winning start. My mom hit the Packers 2-unit play in the Pick Six contest. My mom is 6th. I have about 1,800 people in the Pick Six contest right now, teaching us all a lesson. Teddy Covers, thank you so much for joining us. Have an incredible weekend, and I hope it's full of cash.
Thank you. I had the Bears in that contest last night, so I am towards the bottom of that 1,800 people in the contest right now. But it's not too late to join, right, Jimmy?
It is not too late to join, and I will send up the link right now. $50,000 Pick Six contest. Don't let my mom teach us all a lesson, all right? Don't let my mom teach us all a lesson. 2 units on the Packers to get her started. There she is, Dr. Saucy, killing it right there. There we go, and I'm going to pop it right there. Jump in the contest. We need all low baggers in there. Have a wonderful weekend, Teddy. Much love, man.
Cheers, guys. Have a great weekend. Best of luck. Enjoy the game.
And there he is, Teddy Covers. All right, we have a huge late show as well, special guests, and we are starting our brand new schedule. So we're going to have the schedule out so you'll know who will be on each and every show. That's starting next week. We have some special guests. We have new guests. I'm very, 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 very excited about all of this. This is my action. This is my action on today's early baseball, or I guess it's night games, and we will have additions. We will definitely have additions, but this is what I'm on right now, and not a lot of plays. Not a lot of plays. I do not want the Orioles and Marlins as favorites right now. I just don't want them. But this, Andy Harris says, Teddy, you haven't tweeted for 1 hour. This is what I'm on right now. Wow, going through not a lot of plays. I'm on the Blue Jays first 5 plus a half at plus 110. I have a lean to the Reds, but Jin Rummy gets it at plus 116. It's now at plus 108, and those 8 cents matter. Those 8 cents matter. Tom Reach says, we are honored to learn from Mama Bag. We are honored to learn from Mama Bag. David H. liking St. Louis. I have some concerns about that spot. Maybe that will be enough just to take this L off. You know what, David H., I'll just take the lean off of the Reds. So I'm only on Blue Jays first half plus a half. And look at that. That's my... Oh, no, sorry. I'm also on the White Sox on the -1 line. I tweeted that out. Wow. Just 2 spots right now. 2 spots only. There's Muhammad Joma, MLB Cards and Mets. Respect, Muhammad. Great call on your play of the day video, parlaying the first half under with the Packers money line. Attaboy, Muhammad. You were so close. You were second. You were so close to getting your name on the Vegas Gun Award for capping excellence, but that went to Von Polo. Suze387 said, Jimmy, I'll be on the beach in Waikiki for the late show. Come get a Mai Tai. Much love to you, Suze387. Have a great time at that big Oregon State-Hawaii game this weekend. Thank you, guys, everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for all of the insights and all the care and all the humor and all the fun that you bring to the show. We have no show without you, but most importantly... Leche, los bookmakers.